I might mistakenly recognize Brad Pitt as my husband when I'm not wearing my glasses.
That's just like me. I mistakenly recognize myself as someone way, way more handsome than myself.
Wake up please, let's get back to the
Fine. สวัสดีครับ อยู่กับแบงค์จาก British Council ครับ
And I'm Kid Delia from the British Council.
ยินดีต้อนรับทุกคนนะครับเข้าสู่ Learn English with FameLab ครับรายการเรียนรู้ภาษาอังกฤษผ่านเวทีสื่อสารวิทยาศาสตร์ภายใน3นาทีหรือผ่านโครงการ FameLab กันครับซึ่งสำหรับวันนี้นะครับคิดเราก็มาฟังผู้ชนะ FameLab International ในปี 2018 ครับคุณสิทธิจากมาเลเซียนะครับซึ่งวันนี้เนี่ยเรามาฟังเรื่องราวที่มองไม่เห็นด้วยตาเปล่ากันครับ
What do you mean, Bank? I thought FameLab was about science. What do you mean by something we can't see? Are we talking about ghosts?
ไม่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องผีๆสางๆเลยครับแต่ว่าเราเนี่ยจะมองลึกลงไปในร่างกายของเรานะครับที่มองไม่เห็นด้วยตาเปล่าอย่างเช่นเรื่อง DNA antibody และ antigen นะครับโดยหัวข้อเนี่ยก็จะพูดถึงเรื่องวัณโรคด้วยเช่นกันและระบบภูมิต้านทานของเราครับโอเค Are we ready then?
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
If you had to choose to fall into the arms of someone in this crowd, wouldn't you rather fall into the familiar arms of a friend?I like that one, to fall into the familiar arms.
Right, yes, we normally hear fall into someone's arm, fall into my arms, or fall into your arms. We have an extra word here, so familiar. So familiar being something that we know. So to fall into familiar arms would be arms that you know well, yes.
So a friend.
Yes, perhaps, or a family.
A family.
Or a loved one.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Well, that's how...Antibodies choose the antigens that they want to bind to be locked in a molecular embrace. In fact, antibodies can only bind antigens, which are pieces of bacteria or virus, that they've met before, that they recognize as familiar.
Again, we have familiar here, but they use the word recognize, and I think a lot of us would be more familiar with remember.
Sure.
How is that?different.
Okay, so yes, they're very similar, recognize and remember. The key word here is familiar, so something that you know or something. So we normally talk about faces when we use the word recognize. So if you see someone's face and you know, yes, I know that face, then we say, yes, I recognize that face.
So like a phone.With yes. a face recognition.
So yes, so the phone will see the shape of your face and then it will recognize your face, yes.
But the phone doesn't remember your face.
Well, depends.
It is this familiarity and exclusive match that forms the basis of many of our innovations in biomedical research. Particularly for my research, the specific recognition of antibody to antigen can be used as biomarkers and turned into simple diagnostic tests, like a pregnancy test, but to diagnose an infectious disease. Now, usually, antibodies recognize antigens better than you would recognize the face of a loved one in a room full of strangers. But a problem arises when sometimes antibodies mistakenly recognize a similar but different antigen.So
like she mentions the word a problem arise. How would problem rise then?
So arise here, it's the same as a problem comes up or a problem occurs or happens. Yes,
right.
Just kind of a more formal way of saying a problem occurs. Yes. Okay.
The way I might mistakenly recognize Brad Pitt as my husband when I'm not wearing my glasses.That's
just like me. I mistakenly recognize myself as someone way, way more handsome than myself.
Wake up please, let's get back to the clip.
Fine.
Now, this is a common problem in developing an antibody-based test, but especially to diagnose TB, a disease that afflicted 10.4 million people just in 2016.This is partly because the bacteria that causes TB, the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, has many mycobacterial cousins that our bodies constantly meet in the environment. This confuses an antibody-based test and gives rise to false positive results, which reduces its accuracy. That's why, even until today, we are stuck with methods to diagnose TB that are time consuming, expensive, and laborious.
Hey, a couple of nice words there.
Yep.
So
Familiar
first,
ones as well,
Yeah.
no?
What was the first one? Time consuming,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So we came across this word before, consume, meaning to eat or use up a lot of energy. So
Exactly.
thinking about time consuming, eating up time.
Wasting
Yes.
our time
Yes.
away, procrastination.
Good. And the second one was laborious. So laborious here, very similar to time consuming, so using up a lot of time and energy.
Right, and I guess it comes from the word labor, isn't it? Just wasting
Yeah,
energy.
so using energy, yes.
And most importantly, they will miss the majority of people living with TB in areas without lab facilities, depriving them of a cure. That's why my research is investigating different mycobacterial antigens and how our antibodies recognize them. Hopefully, one day we can discover an antibody-antigen match that can be turned into a simple diagnostic test to diagnose TB in big hospitals as well in remote villages without running electricity.
So I understand big hospital, but
Right.
remote villages. Remote villages are recognized as something using remote. Is it related to TV?
No, not really. Nothing to do with the remote control that you control a TV. Remote here just means far, far away. So a remote village is somewhere that is far away.
Okay.
Or similar, you might hear the word remote satellite. So a satellite that's
I
far
see.
away. Yep.
Such a discovery could be the difference between containment and spread or life and death. Such a discovery could be an antibody-antigen match made in heaven.
Also a beautiful ending for me.
Yeah, definitely a nice ending there. Phrase match made in heaven. So basically a perfect combination. A bit like us, really. Do you think we're a match made in heaven, Bank?
Are we? We'll let the audience decide, I guess. So what do you think about this performance, Kukit Kap?
Yeah, I really liked her presentation. It was very clear, very informative, and her pacing was good. It wasn't too fast or too slow. Very easy to understand.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I feel like as a scientist, she's very calm and composed, and I think it gives her a lot of stage presence, so people are captivated by her talk.
True, I couldn't agree more.